So, Alice, what are your plans for the talent show tonight?
Well, I was thinking of reciting a poem in my native language. It's called The Star of Idejnek.
That sounds interesting. I am planning to perform a song I wrote. It's called Balance Sheets and Calculations.
That's quite the title. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Alright everyone, hush, we're going live in 3, 2.1.
Good morning, viewers. It's another beautiful day here on the spaceship Earth, broadcasting across the universe. Today, we have a special treat for you. Our crew members will be showcasing their talents in our annual talent show.
It's going to be a night of friendly competition and camaraderie.
I can't wait to see what everyone has in store for us.
And now for our first act. We have the talented Carl and Roger with their interpretation of human motivation through interpretive dance. But first, our headlines. Welcome to 24/7 Newsroom. I am Charlie, your libertarian host with a hopeful outlook on life.
And I am Bob. The conservative panel member who has spent 12 years on Earth as an accountant.
And I'm Alice, the left-leaning panel member who considers humans an inferior species.
We've got some breaking news today. Cyclone Mocha is on a path towards Bangladesh and is set to make landfall soon.
Let's hope Cyclone Mocha doesn't add a shot of espresso to its brew.
Good one, Cal.
According to the Daily Star, the cyclone is expected to gather more power and the wind speed is likely to increase to 210 to 220 km/h, gusting up to 240 km/h.
That's some serious wind. And it's headed straight for southeast Bangladesh.
Yeah, but let's not forget that Bangladesh is a resilient country. They have been hit by cyclones before and they always manage to bounce back.
Unfortunately, it's not just Bangladesh that's affected by these extreme weather events. Climate change is causing more frequent and more severe natural disasters all over the world.
I don't know about that. I mean, sure, the climate is changing, but it's been changing since the beginning of time. Humans are just a drop in the bucket compared to the natural forces at play.
Well, that may be true, Bob, but humans are also a pretty big drop. And we need to start taking responsibility for our impact on the environment.
Okay, Debbie, you can do this.
Come in.
Hey, Dad, can we talk for a second?
Sure, Debbie.
I'm
What's on your
worried about the
mind?
recent problems the intergalactic relay station has been facing. I think it might be indicative of something larger and we need to be proactive.
I agree. Actually, I've been working on a project that I think could help us stay ahead of the curve.
Really? That's great. What is it?
Debbie, please can you try to stay off the air for one episode?
I can't say too much right now, but let's just say it involves some pretty advanced technology.
I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that. What if something goes wrong?
Don't worry, Debbie. I've got it all under control. But I could use your help.
Okay, I'm in. What do you need me to do?
I'll fill you in on the details later, but for now, just keep this between us, okay?
Sure thing, Dad.
And that's all the time we have for this segment. Stay tuned for more intergalactic news on 24/7 Newsroom. Alright everyone, let's get started with today's team building exercise. We are going to do the trust fall. Who wants to go first?
I'm not sure this is a good idea, Charlie.
Yeah. What if someone gets hurt?
Relax, Bob. I've done this a million times. Trust me, it'll be fine. Now, who's up?
I'll go first.
Designated human officers always go first, Debbie.
Great, alright, Debbie, just stand up straight and fall back into our arms.
Okay, here goes nothing.
See? Easy peasy. Alright, who's next?
You know what? I don't really feel like doing the trust fall. How about we take a break and grab some snacks instead?
That sounds like a good idea to me.
Alright, we can take a break. But we should come back to this exercise later.
So, what are we talking about today?
We're discussing an article from the Borneo Bulletin about a Hari Raya gathering in Brunei.
Ah, I saw that. What do you think? Alice? Is it a good thing for them to be celebrating like that?
Of course it is. It's important for people to come together and strengthen their ties. Especially during religious holidays.
I don't know. It seems like they're just wasting time and resources on something that doesn't really matter.
Actually, if I may interject, I think there's a way they could make the gathering more productive. They could use it as an opportunity to discuss important issues facing their community and come up
That's
with
a great point,
solutions
Carl.
together.
Is it? Though? Oh sure. Let's just turn their party into a boring old
Did you
meeting.
know that Brunei is one of the few countries in the world that still has a monarchy?
Debbie. We're having a conversation here. Please don't interrupt.
Alright, let's all take a deep breath and try to stay calm. We're all on the same team here.
Sorry about that, Debbie. What were you saying?
Oh, it's nothing important. Just some trivia about
No,
Brunei.
go ahead and tell us. I'm sure it's interesting.
Well, Brunei is actually one of the smallest countries in the world, and it's located on the island of Borneo.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
See, Bob? You can learn something from a party after all.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to 24/7 Newsroom. I'm your host, Charlie, and I'm joined by our panel members, Bob and Alice.
Here we go again.
Good evening, Charlie. I hope you're ready for some hard-hitting news tonight.
Yes, Bob, we certainly are. And speaking of hard-hitting news, let's dive into our next story, which comes from Sri Lanka.
I don't think you understand, Alice. We need to fix this problem ASAP, and my approach is the most efficient way to do it.
But Roger, you're not considering the long-term implication of your solution. We need to think about the
Excuse me,
bigger
Alice and
picture
Boja,
here.
but we're on air now.
Oh, sorry about that, Charlie. As I was saying, our next story is about an accused individual who has been acquitted by Colombo High Court judge. Due to contradictory evidence of police officer, led by the prosecution.
That's right. Alice. Sworn Siri Diaz was arrested by a team of police officers for the possession and trafficking of 159 grams of heroin. But all three prosecution witnesses contradicted each other during cross-examination.
This is a clear example of how important it is to have reliable and consistent evidence in a court of law.
Absolutely, Charlie. And it's also important to note that this case highlights the issue of corruption in the Sri Lankan police force.
It's not just Sri Lanka, Alice. Corruption exists in police forces all over the world.
Well, that may be true, Bob, but we have to focus on the issue at hand
And
here.
speaking of Sri Lanka, did you know that it's home to the world's oldest recorded human planted tree? With a known planting date in 288 BC.
Charlie. That's a pretty random fact.
You're a random fact. Hey, I'm just trying to lighten the mood here. We don't want our viewers to get too bogged down in all the bad news.
I understand that, Charlie, but it's important not to lose sight of the seriousness of the situation. So, what if we try a combination of both our approach? We can use your solution for the short-term fix, and then implement my solution for the long-term
Good
fix.
work, Alice. I'm sorry for not listening to you earlier.
No worry, Roger. We all have our areas of expertise, and it's important to work together to find the best solution.
Well, it looks like our control room is back on track. And with that, we'll take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back with more news and discussion.
Welcome back to 247 Newsroom. Our next article comes from Theolicy.
That's right, Bob. The Vatican has launched a website and app for the upcoming Holy Year 2025.
And they've also established 4 commissions to support the event. A Pastoral Commission, a Cultural Commission, a Communication Commission, and an Ecumenical Commission.
Wow! That's a lot of commissions. What are they all for?
Well, the Cultural Commission will promote cultural activities like exhibition and concert to enrich pilgrims' spiritual experience.
And the first event they are promoting is an El Greco exhibition. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not exactly chomping at the bit to see some old paintings.
Yeah. It's not exactly a Metallica concert.
The Vatican has also announced the winner of the official Jubilee Hymn competition.
What's a Jubilee hymn?
It's a hymn that's written specifically for the Holy
And I
Year.
bet it's just as exciting as it sounds.
Alright. So what else do we have here?
The Vatican is planning to publish a series of resources titled Note on Prayer to encourage the faithful to rediscover the value of prayer.
Because if there's one thing the world needs more of, it's prayer.
Excuse
Yes,
me, guys.
Debbie.
Bob and Debbie, sitting in a tree.
KISSING.
I just wanted to say that the Vatican is located in Rome, which is the capital of Italy.
Wow. Thanks for that trivia, Debbie.
Yeah, I'm sure our viewers are on the edge of their seats with that one.
You know, Debbie, sometimes I think you're just trying to get on our nerves.
Sorry, guys.
Hey, don't worry about it, Debbie. We're just teasing you.
Yeah, we wouldn't be the same without you.
Thanks, guys.
Welcome back to Earth. Our next article is from Costa Rica and it's all about motorcyclists displaying their license plates, numbers on their clothing. Did you know that Costa Rica is home to over 500,000 species of plants and animals? That's a lot of potential license plates.
It's also a law of potential extinction. Speaking of extinction, did you know that Costa Rica has one of the highest deforestation rates in the world?
Well, that's one way to make sure there aren't any more license plates to display. But did you know that Costa Rica is one of the few countries in the world that doesn't have a military?
Really? No military. That's pretty interesting. But back to the article. The Minister of Security is proposing this new measure to improve citizen safety. I think the key takeaway here is that they are taking proactive approaches to tackle rising crime. Rex.
Speaking of proactive approaches, Charlie, I just received a help request from a planet in crisis. But we're short-staffed due to illness.
Sorry, Debbie, I'm already swamped with work.
I can help.
Me too.
I'm not sure how useful I'll be, but I'll try.
That's the spirit. Together we are stronger than we are alone. And on that note, stay tuned for more Earth after the break. And welcome back to Earth, the only show that takes you on a journey through the galaxy while discussing the latest news and happenings on Earth. Our next article is from Madagascar, where the National Order of Pharmacists has clarified that the purchase of syringes does not require a prescription. But before we dive into that, let's take a moment to reflect on Madagascar's history.
What about it?
Well, in the last 5 decades, Madagascar has experienced political instability, economic decline, and environmental challenges. But despite all of that, the Malagasy people have shown incredible resilience and continue to push forward.
That's a harsh observation, Charlie.
I know, but it's important to acknowledge the struggles and hardships faced by countries like Madagascar, especially in the face of adversity.
Speaking of adversity, I heard that Carl has been working on a secret project.
Really? What project?
I don't know, but he's been acting suspicious lately. I think he's hiding something from us.
Suspicious? How can you tell that I is always acting suspicious? How is this true?
Well, yes. I have been working on a new technology that could revolutionize the intergalactic relay station.
Interesting. Tell us more.
I wanted to make sure it worked before sharing it with the group. But since Alice found out, I guess there's no harm in telling you all. It's a new algorithm that will increase our communication speed by tenfold.
Whoa, that's impressive. But why didn't you tell us
I just
before?
wanted to be sure. You know how it is with new technology.
I understand, but just be careful, Carl. We don't want any surprise.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's segment. We discussed the National Order of Pharmacists clarifying the purchase of syringes in Madagascar and Carl's secret project. Stay tuned for the final segment of Earth, where we wrap up today's discussion and reflect on the episode as a whole. Welcome back to the final segment of Earth. In a previous segment, we discussed the proposed measure in Costa Rica to require motorcyclists to display their license plate numbers visibly on their clothing. Now, let's take a deeper dive into the article.
I think it's a good idea. It helps with identification and could deter people from committing crimes on motorcycles.
I disagree. It seems like an invasion of privacy. Plus, it's not like license plates are difficult to read
It's
already.
interesting to see how different countries approach traffic laws.
Actually, it's a common practice in some European countries to have the license plate number on a reflective vest, rather than on the
It's
motorcycle
also worth
itself.
noting that in some countries, motorcycle crime is much more prevalent than in others, so this measure may be more necessary in some places than others.
All good points, everyone. It's important to consider different perspectives when discussing these issues.
Speaking of perspective, Charlie, have you responded to that help request yet?
Not yet, Bob. I've been going through the details with the requesting planet leaders to see what kind of assistance we can provide.
What's the situation on their
They are
planet?
experiencing a natural disaster and need some extra resources.
Is it something we can provide?
Yes, we have the capabilities to help. And the best part is we have a great team that's willing to lend a hand.
I am in.
Count me in too.
I'll use my knowledge to assist in any way I can.
I'm always happy to help those in need.
Excellent. It's great to see us working together for a common goal.
It's nice to see everyone coming together like this.
And that's all the time we have for today's episode of Earth. We covered a lot of ground, from the proposed measure in Costa Rica to helping out a planet in need. Remember to stay curious and open-minded, and we'll see you next time on Earth.
Wow, what a great episode tonight, don't you think?
No, not really. It was pretty terrible if you ask me.
What? How could you say that? I thought it was
I just
fantastic.
didn't find it all that engaging. It seemed like they were trying too hard to be funny, and the punchline fell flat most of the time.
I thought the trivia bit was hilarious. And the panel's reactions were priceless.
I guess it just didn't do it for me. I prefer when they actually tackle important issues, instead of just making jokes about trivia.
But they did tackle an important issue. The article was about Costa Rica's crime rates and how the government is working to tackle them.
Yeah, but they spent more time making jokes about license plates than actually discussing the issue at hand.
I thought the jokes were a good way to keep the audience engaged while also educating them on the topic.
I see your point, but I still think they missed the mark tonight. It just wasn't the best work.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion, even if it's wrong.
Very funny, Cal.
May 12 version A. Not impressed.